Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. My name's Baron Collins Hill, and this is part 3 in the Harmony series. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, you gotta do those first. It's a really great way to get an introduction into how to play harmonies, really work with your brain to figure out what's a harmony, what's a melody, what some of the basic rules are, when the rules are broken, all that sort of stuff we've been talking about in the last 2 lessons, so watch those if you haven't. And this is the third most common option of ways to create some nice harmony. In part 1, we talked about third above harmony. In part 2, we talked about sixth below. Part 3, we're talking about 10th above. So we're going to take that same scale we've been using. So we've got that G scale, and because this is so high above, we're going to be using as our melody the low G octave, so starting on the open G string. And as in lesson 1, our third above harmony is B to B. And now what 10th above is it's actually an octave and a third. So it's still a harmony based on a third above the melody note at any given point. So G and B, A and C, etc. But there's just a lot more space between the melody, which is low, and the harmony, which is above. So the harmony note to our low G in the scale is the B on the A string. So we have over an octave. Here's the octave, G to G. And we're going up a third from there. G, A, B is our harmony note, and our melody note is that low G. Again, we have A and C, B and D, C and E, or you can do C and open A, D and F sharp, E and G, F sharp and A, and G and B. Let's go back down, G and B, F sharp and A, E and G, D and F sharp, C and E, B and D, A and C, G and B. It's a really pretty sound. It's very shimmery. You know, the tight third above octave that we talked about in episode 1, it's a great classic sound. And then the sixth below harmony that we talked about in lesson 2 is really kind of gives a little more weight to the harmony. You know, it's a little lower pitched. It's got a little more gravity to it. And this one is super shimmery in my mind. Again, I'm using a little something that I talked about in episode 2 called hybrid picking, where you're using your pick on the low, in this case on the low melody, and then I'm just using my middle finger to play the harmony, because you have to skip strings because the interval is so high. Rather than doing G and B and A and C, you know, those, you run out of frets real quick. So I'm skipping over that D string. I have a whole lesson on hybrid picking at mandolessons.com if you want to dive more into it, but it's just a way to play that 10th harmony. Without having to make big stretches on 2 adjacent strings. So just like in episode 1 and 2 of this harmony series, this leads you with some really nice double stops. Now again, with the hybrid picking, you're kind of skipping over a string every time, but what we're gonna do, just to kind of prove a point here, is we're just gonna fill in the middle, and you're gonna see a lot of shapes you probably already know. So we have G and our high harmony of B, and we're just gonna add in that open D string. Hey, it looks like the bottom 3 quarters of our classic G major scale. And then we have A and C. Again, we're kind of bar that A and E and C. So we have G and B, A and bar and C, B and bar and D, so we have that F sharp in the middle. C, bar that G, and an E. So we've got open, open 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 7. You're probably familiar with these shapes because that's your classic G shape. That's a nice A minor, B minor, C major, B minor, A minor, G. Then we get to the D of the melody, and you have the F sharp above, again bar right across, D, A, F sharp, E, sorry, yeah, E, B, G, nice little E minor. And then we have our little outlier chord is F sharp is our melody note, and this is where you get a diminished chord from kind of this chord melody idea that we're going through. So the melody is an F sharp, the 10th above is an A, and normally if we just bar across we get F sharp, C sharp, and A, which makes like an F sharp minor chord. But there's no C sharp in our G scale, and that's where we're basing all of this off of. So that C sharp is actually a C natural, so we get F sharp, C natural, A, and that resolves up to G, D, B. So the second half of that little scale, it has that little diminished chord in an F sharp, C natural, A. And then melody G, harmony of B, middle note filled in of D. So this is building really nice kind of double stop and chord melody ideas into your fingers, and also connecting it with that theory of G and B. You know, you probably hear that sort of stuff being played by mandolin all the time. It's a really natural shape, and it's a really good, it's sort of the, between the 3 double stop shapes that I've shown you in episodes 1 through 3 of this harmony series. You know, you have 3rd above harmony, 6th below, and now that 10th above. That's probably 90%, 95% of any double stop shape that you'll ever find me using, because double stops are so often based on thirds. You know, you might slip a 4th or a 5th in there sometime, but you know, a lot of that sound of double stops, whether you're in bluegrass or old time or any kind of music really, is based on that Western harmony of having that third interact with your melody note. So after these 3 episodes of how to play harmony, we have 3 different ways to play a harmony line based on thirds. Now it's your job to take this idea, play around with it, mix it up, you know, take a simple tune and play 3rd above, then play 6th below, then play 10th above. It's gonna work better or worse depending on what the tune is and what register the tune is in. You know, so if your melody is like Blackberry Blossom, then doing 10th above doesn't make any sense because that's your first note, and that's not going to make any sense. So maybe that's a good option for the 6th below. Melody's here, 6th below there. There's your starting point. Take tunes that are, I mean, Blackberry Blossom is not a simple tune. It's pretty notey. Maybe take a tune like Jamie Allen. I teach it on my website, mandolessons.com. It's very scale-based and kind of scale pattern. Try to play a harmony. See when that 3rd harmony above fits, see when the 6th below fits, see if there's any little adjustments you need to do to kind of stay in line with what your ears think sounds good and what the chords sort of necessitate. And mostly, you know, the more time you spend playing around with these double stops and these harmonies, the more it all becomes one big idea in your head. It's a really helpful thing. It's a big part of the sound of the mandolin is to get comfortable with these harmonies and double stops, and it's all connected, and the more you do it, the more natural it all feels. So just stick with it and keep trying it, and it'll slowly click as you play more. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching. Again, mandolessons.com for lots of other mandolin-related videos. There's a couple ways to support the channel. You can find the links in the description to a PayPal page, Patreon, where you get access to lessons early, patron-only live streams, all sorts of good stuff. Some merch down there if that's more your style. In any case, none of that is required, but greatly appreciated. Helps me put out new lessons every single week and do my live streams on the weekends. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.